Alright guys, literally yesterday I made a video about the roadmap Gameloft release for this year 2025 and many of you asked me to talk a bit about the Ferrari 499p Modificata Mayhem, which as well started for everyone yesterday. So today I will be having a look into this special event with bonus rewards, which is how I see it honestly. So let's dive into it. Okay, so what caught my attention the most was the fact that right at the first stage you could get 30 blueprints for 3 of the required cars within the special event, and that is something quite unusual on its own. I was used to have some tokens, some credits and whatnot, but Gameloft decided to twist a special event and make it more special for those who don't have the cars required to progress through the Mayhem, which I mean, it's quite good on its own, but well, for those players that have the required cars maxed out, it now means that the Mayhem is less rewarding than an usual special event, since most of the blueprints I will get turned into trade coins. It would be a great addition if Gameloft had a way to at least give some tokens back to those who already own the required cars at max by the time the Mayhem arrives, but more on that later. As we move through the different stages, I can appreciate how the amount of main car blueprints has significantly increased, and having a look around, I think that within this Mayhem event there could be easily half the blueprints you need to max out the Ferrari Modificata, which I guess it's Gameloft's indirect way of alleviating the tokens requirements for those who have all the other cars maxed out. Not what I expected, but I guess I can take it. Within this Mayhem you can expect to obtain slightly over 2000 tokens in total, which is alright, a decent amount of credits as well, and most importantly, in case you are interested on maxing this Ferrari Modificata, 10 epic import parts of the main car. Sadly, this is quite far away from the 16 epic import parts you need to call the Modificata, and even if you end within the top 1% on the final stage of the Mayhem, as well as you claim the club milestones Modificata epic import part and the part the Legends Pass gives you once you upgrade it, you could end up with 15 out of the 16 epic import parts the Modificata requires in order to be maxed out. Oh, and by the way, in case you want to calculate how many Modificata blueprints, as well as epic import parts, tokens and credits you could obtain based on the current level of the required cars you own, you can click on the link from the description, which is basically a special event calculator for this specific Mayhem, and I find it quite interesting. But now let's get real guys, this might be easily one of the best special events we have ever got on this game since at least the British Tour season, and it's a fact, there is no way of hiding it. This Mayhem event is great. It's so good that I don't know if Gameloft will continue adding events like this one, and I guess that might be the reason of why did they call this special event a Mayhem event. So we don't expect special events to be like this Mayhem. I mean, that's the approach that makes the most sense, since I feel like they are just testing the waters and see how people react, how many people decide to spend a bit more money than usual, and so on. There will be more events like this one in the future, it depends really, but I do really hope that these events keep coming, since despite there are even less epic import parts of the main event car when compared to a normal special event, in the long run it's way more worth it, since there are more blueprints to claim than the average special event, hence why on the long run it makes sense from the tokens reserve standpoint. Meanwhile, and if we have a look at the main car, the Ferrari 499p Modificata is a really good, really agile car which just happens to be on top of A-Class, meaning it's an elite A-Class car that will give you some tokens if you own it. The acceleration, albeit not insane, is quite strong, with a value nearing 85 points, which is great for multiplayer standard. This car nitro efficiency is quite strong as well, as expected from an agile car that has a rather massive handling value honestly, and the top speed is the only weakness I can see on this car, since it goes at 373 km per hour without overclock, which makes it closer to the Banda Electris than the Pagani Imola or the Aston Martin Valhalla, cars which are closer in terms of rank to this Modificata, while faster in terms of final top speed. Nonetheless, a top speed of let's say 385 km per hour would have made it an absolute king in most tracks, and I guess that's not what Gameloft was looking for with this Modificata, hence the current top speed. At least it looks quite promising for classic multiplayer, to say the least. That's why it's a bit frustrating to know that I won't be able to gold it from this Mayhem, but I have hopes for the remaining epic import parts to show up again at some point in the future, just like it happened with the Nissan GTR Neon Edition. Gameloft is like that these days, I guess. No more new cards golden from the first special event for those who have all the required cards maxed out anymore. Also, as the last thought that came to my mind while playing this event, this is the actual proof that Gameloft knows how to make proper good events, just like this one, the Coding Special Event, the Rimac Nevera Drive Syndicate, or the entire British Tour season, for example. Yet still, they prefer to launch long, boring, and hard events in order to get actual profit. I mean, it might make sense for them, but from a community standpoint, it doesn't really. But now it's your turn, guys. What do you think about this Ferrari Modificata Mayhem? Are you going to lock it? Let me know in the comment section. Make sure to subscribe in order to not to miss absolutely anything about the game, and I will see you really soon as usual with much more Asphalt content. Goodbye!